Before 4 o'clock, everything will be edited.
And just make me presenter as well, please.
Yes, yes, that's why I'm here now to just do that.
Okay, awesome.
I was the one that was so afraid of Teams, and they make fun of me because they say I can do more sessions.
It
When
it
when
is
it's when it's the unknown, then you're so afraid. Now it's just the norm.
yeah, yeah. Oh, Bronwyn
Oh yeah,
here as
Bronwyn is
well.
joining us. She's spying. You see, she must just pop in. She can't help herself. She misses you.
And now we scared her away.
I look at Clotilde. Now, we always have each other's backs, and that's so nice about the team. Because that is just
And
so nice about our team.
and it's also now easier because you don't need to run between classes. You can actually
Oh,
just
yes.
it I must say it is actually quite and I told my boss this afternoon as well. I like this setup from working from home. You can actually do so much more and things like that. So
You can structure your day accordingly, and people can't interrupt you. You can choose the time for interruption. That's basically
precisely.
the best part about it. Anyway, you guys must have a good session. I'll
Thanks.
quickly start the other session, and then I'll come paste the. Oh wait, let me just quickly put the link in quick.
Hi guys, we'll start in a few minutes. Okay, let's start. It is 4 o'clock. Um, this session is being recorded again, so it will be uploaded sometime probably early next week. And Colleen, you were on the chat when it started, so they do cut it a bit to make it a bit smaller. So that's why it does take a day or two extra just to get the things up and running on the My Unisa site and the team site to get the video. For the guys that is joining the session for the first time, or the guys that will be watching the video, we have a WhatsApp group. So please, you feel free to WhatsApp me if you want to join it, if you're not on it yet. So again, my contact details is on this slide, and I'll show this later on again. What I want to do today is basically we didn't finish off this session last week, so I just wanted to run through some of the assignments that you probably all needed to hand in by now. Was assignment 3 due already, or is assignment 3 still due for later in the month? Due Monday. Okay. So I think a few of the questions will be on assignment 3. Next week we will start with chapter 5, which is, I think, differentiation. So we're not going to get to differentiation today. I nearly want to start fresh on that. That we start with differentiation next week, integration the week after, so that it all flows into one another. But also you can use the WhatsApp group to communicate, and if you are struggling on some of the questions, I think it's also good that you nearly use it as a soundboard to see where you're going wrong or not. I will also look at it and try to give some tips during the weekend as well. So I think this is on assignment 3. We did look at something on assignment 1 last week, or 2 weeks ago. So let's have a look at assignment 3, question 18, and nearly what you would have done to get to this. You will get something like this in the exam. So I think that is important to add. Out of these questions, question 19 is also from assignment, question 20 as well, that you nearly, out of these questions, you you will get these kind of questions. So, okay, so let's look at question 18, and how I would always like to look at it. So you are baking for a street bazaar and are given 18 kilograms of flour and 10 kilograms of sugar. So you can decide if, and let's make that flour and the other one sugar. So we will decide how we're going to split that up, and if we rather want to put sugar and flour on the top. You want the cakes to be high protein and therefore want to use at least 36 eggs. So I think that is important. You are planning to bake two types of cakes. The chocolate cake uses 1.8 kilograms of flour and 3 eggs. So that is nearly your one that you're going to look at. Let's just make it. So that will be your one that you have a chocolate cake, flour, egg, sugar, and for each unit of cake, the cheesecake will be the other one. Uses how many flour, how many eggs, how many sugar. Okay, this was quite interesting. So they are working around the 3 over 18. So that is basically looking at the 18 kilograms of flour. We're looking at the 10 kilograms of sugar, and they are working with the 36 eggs. Okay, so even before we do go into that detail, there's maybe other things that we can even eliminate before that. So want to use at least 36 eggs. So that means that you want to use 36 or more eggs. So if I was in the exam, I would have read that, and then I would look at there's 36, 36, 36. So those two can't be, because it needs to be at least 36. You are planning to bake two types. So let's look at you are baking for a street bazaar and are given 80 kilograms of flour and 10 kilograms of sugar. So because that is basically, you can't get more, it will be, both of them will be smaller or equal to 18 and smaller or equal to 10. So basically those two can stand. Those two can stand. Okay, so nothing has changed there yet. Okay, so now we're going to say, okay, let's make the chocolate cake. And I assume let's make the chocolate cake for X. Let's make the cheesecake for Y. So that we can say, with a chocolate cake, you basically have 1.8 kilograms of flour. So 1.8 times X plus, let's see, for the cheesecake, you uses 0.75 kilograms of flour, and the flour was smaller or equal to 18. Okay, so that's nearly your first one that I look at, and then I will look at both of those two options and say, okay, at the moment, that is still correct and that is still correct. So I still need to work out, wait, where is the difference? Okay, so there's the difference. Okay. So then let's look at your next one that you are looking at. So that was the X. So for the chocolate cake, you have 3 eggs. For the cheesecake, you're working with 2 eggs. And the eggs need to be bigger or equal to 36. Okay, so let's look at, there's the 3x plus the 2y. That one was different, so that one is the correct one. That one is the incorrect one. Okay, so by now we already know that option 1 needs to be the correct one, but let's just look at the last one. So we looked at the kilograms of flour, we looked at the eggs, so let's just look at the sugar as well. So for the chocolate cake, 0.4x, the cheesecake 0.6x, 0.6y, and because you have the 10 kgs of sugar, it's equal or less than 10, and it was both of those options. Okay, so that was how you got to option 1. But again, I would first look at those 3 to say, okay, let's look at the options that they give you, and from there nearly try to start eliminating. Because at point 2 already now, you could have seen that option 1 is the only one. So it is saving you some time. Let me quickly, are you guys happy with that? Is that what you did? You can also draw the diagram for yourself and put it in the diagram. But I wanted to show you just another way that I normally do it as well. Thumbs up, thumbs down. It is assignment free, so we have at least one assignment answer for you with some of the other ones that we have done. Okay, cool. And that question will be in the exam. That is just how it will be. So there's no question about it. It will be in the exam. So you will see that question 18, 19, 20, 21 or 17 are very, it will be in the exam nearly. Okay, so let's look at question 19, also assignment free. So again, you can check your answers and you can assist me as well if I'm going wrong. So again, I look at this. The first one I will look at is to see if that is right. So it seems like there's no negatives at any of these. So that one at least is adhered to. Here we see we're working with smaller equal, bigger equal, smaller equal. So we just need to be careful how we do those two. So how, again, I would write it is the standard way that that is supposed to be an X and not interrupting me while I am. So the minus 6x plus 840. So that would have been your first one. So I've rewritten it as that, but let's solve it as well, because maybe already we can then eliminate one of these options. Okay, so the easiest for me is, so when x is 0, that basically falls away. So we have 2y will be equal to 840. So y will be equal to 420. So if we look on these, so that is for 420. So all of them have a 420 at the right spot. Let's just look at the x value. So when y is 0, you basically want to know what x is. So it will be the 840 divided by 6. So that will be 140. So let's just see if that is also giving me, okay, so I would guess that is around 140, so no problem. That is around 140. So it seems like all of them are nearly around 140. So that first one, we know that first one, that is the graph of that first one. Okay, so now we can say, well, out of that graph, I know that my answer needs to be smaller or equal to y. So it will be smaller than that graph. Okay, so on all sides it will be smaller. So at this stage, this one will be one of our options. If I look at smaller, 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 okay, so we see that one is bigger. So option 2 already we can nearly eliminate. If we go to smaller, smaller, this one can still be applicable. If we do the smaller, this one can also be applicable. So basically, we know with that one formula that we have eliminated one of the equations. So I just want to quickly, are you guys, is that fine for you how I did that? I'll go through the other two now as well, but nearly just want to get a sanity check. Yes, Colleen, please ask.
Unmute. There we go. Unmuting. So you said that line 420, smaller, 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 smaller. And then you just, why did you discount the second one?
Because if I accept that, that part is bigger and it should be lying on the left-hand side of that line. So when I go for my feasibility region, out of that first equation, it all needs to lie to the left already.
So
And
you've taken it out
yes,
because that little bit, that little one is grey there instead of the
yes,
bigger area.
yes.
Aha. Thank you.
Okay, so it's nearly with eliminating and want to narrow it down that maybe again it's easier to just pick one or two that you need to work with. Okay, so since we've now done that, I'd rather do the third one so that we can, so again, I will rewrite that as the normal y is equal to, so it is y will be minus x plus 250. So now one can see if x is 0, y will be 250, and if y is 0, x will be 250. So this is actually a nice one. It basically, if a 1 is 0, the other one will be 250. So let's just quickly again, so there's the 250, there's the 250, so that is line 3. Okay, so let's look at, that is line 3, that was line 1. 1, that is 3. Okay, so So what we've done already now is to say it needs to lie on that side. But with this one also, because it's smaller or equal to, it needs to lie on this side of the. So now we're actually bringing in another angle to say, well, now it also needs to lie in this area. So now it can be that one. It needs to lie in this area. So it must be smaller than. So that is above it. So it can't be. So there we eliminate option 3 as well. So here, lying to the bottom. So basically it can still be option. So now we're sitting with option 1 and option 4 as your two possibles. Okay, so then we basically look at the last one. So again, let's make it y. Take that to that side, so it's minus 2x plus 300. So when x is 0, y is equal to 300. When y is 0, x will be 150 because it is the 300 divided by 2. So let's look at the options. So there's the x of 150, so there. Okay, so it goes to that one, x 150 to there, but it needs to be bigger than. Okay, so it needs to be bigger. So that takes that one out. It needs to be bigger, so bigger than that. So it basically leaves us with that part that is the option that we are looking for, which is then option 4. Okay, so it needs to be bigger than that line, but it needs to be smaller than that line. So the only option that it is then possible is that small portion between those lines. Okay, ask question, and again, please, you can unmute. I don't mind you asking a question. So again, this is how I would do it in the exam as well. It's nearly for me it's start at the top nearly and eliminate options. That just makes it always easier for myself. In the exam, there won't be the option of none of the above. I think we've seen that in the June paper already that they've taken that out. So I think a lot of questions are moving into that space that the none of the above will not be an option. Questions on this? Otherwise, we can continue to the next one. Happiness, is it a bit clearer now how to do this? Okay, cool. Okay, so then I think we can go on to the next one, which is, let's quickly check. Yes, please ask.
I just want to know. So I came in the session at 4:10. What is the official time for these sessions? Is it at 4 p.m.? Does it start at 4 every Friday?
Start at 4, yes, 4 to 5:30.
All right.
It is being recorded.
Right.
So it will probably be available on Monday. It normally takes them a day or two to load it onto the My UNISA platform again. But also, and I've seen the group has been growing, so let me quickly just go back to my original. I don't know if all of you are already on our WhatsApp group as well. So we have a WhatsApp group. So you can just give me a WhatsApp later after the session or during the session on that number, and we talk on the WhatsApp group as well.
All right. So you are Jean, right?
I am Jean.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much. That's all I need.
Okay, so I am Jean. I haven't shaved in a few days, so I am not going to show how I look at the moment, but that is me.
Okay, cool. No worries.
Okay. At a later stage, I will show myself again when I am presentable. Okay, cool. So also what they can ask us, and this was for me a very interesting one. So out of question 20 or question 19, they basically ask us what is the feasible region. Now they're asking us, and I am sure this is on the previous data. I would assume so, but I am also now not sure. So let's make it just bigger. So they're asking us, determine the maximum value P is equal to 120x plus 95y, subject to the feasible region. I just want to check, does this numbers correlate with the previous one? It looks like it. I'm now not sure, but basically the process that one would follow to see if what is the maximum value is you will put in that point into that formula and get an answer. Then you will put in that point into that formula. So for point A, you will get an answer. For point B, you will get an answer. For C, you put it in, get an answer. And for D. And basically then, because they're asking for maximum, whichever value is the biggest will be your maximum value, and then that will be the one that you go with. And it's interesting, I sometimes look at this and I would sometimes say, okay, well, and this is how they also try to catch you out, is they say maximum, that's the biggest one, so why not go for 4? But it needs to meet the criteria as well. So what I would normally do is I don't think we have the points from this one, so we don't know what those cutting points are, so we unfortunately will need to work it out. But this one we know because that was the cutoff, so we know that point is on the x-axis is 0, and on the y-axis it was 250. So that we at least know from the previous, and we can, in a sense, see it. In the exam, it will be clear. So it won't be that you will need to guess what it is. So you can see, so we will put that in there. So basically your p-value is 120 times x, which is 0, plus 95 times 250. So 95 times 250 is equal to 2375. So I am just hoping somebody else just checks my calculation as well. So if we add 0 plus that, it's 23750 if we use point A. So we see 23750 is not on the list, so it's probably not the answer. But we already see that is bigger than the first option. So we can actually already eliminate option 1 if you need to guess, that it won't be an option because at least we're already looking at 23,750. The other one that we also know is that point D is 140x and 0 for y. So that at least we can also calculate. So again, now it's 140 times 120 because that was the value of x, which gives us 16,800. 0 times that will give us 0. So again, 16,800 is not one of the options yet. Again, I'll really stay away from that. I think we will get an answer to one of the others. So let me just check. So point B and point C is basically referencing what we did here. So I just want to look at that. Point C was that one and those two. So that was point C. I just want to make sure. So that is point C. So it is referring to line 1 and what was it, line 2. So it was that one. So I just quickly, so basically we now need to do a calculation where we say 6x plus 2y is equal to 840 as your one formula, and 2x plus y equal to 300 is your second formula. I just want to write down what the next one will be as well. So that is point B. So that is, that was a 1. So it was 3 and 2. So the other one was 2x plus y is equal to 300 and x plus y is equal to 250. What for me is now very interesting to see is that it can be that you also look at this and say, well, I look at question 19, there's that feasibility area. If I look at 20, it nearly looks like the same. So that is also nearly a way that they try to make you nearly think, well, now I've made a mistake with that one because I'm looking at a different feasibility. So again, here they're just asking us on this graph with this feasibility, what is the answer? So let's look at point B was the 2x. So let's write it. So to get to point B, basically it was, the one formula was 2x plus y is equal to 300. The other formula was x plus y is equal to 250. So we need to solve the x and the y. So what I would do is we add it in the one to make y the subject. So it was y is equal to minus 2x plus 300. And then I would just put that y into that formula. So now we're going into the maths again. So the x stays the same. I replace that y with that amount. So it is minus 2x plus 300 and that is equal to 250. Okay. Yes, Taryn or Tamarin, do you still want to ask a question, or is that the previous hand that you have up? Okay, no problem. No, don't worry. I do that a lot still in meetings as well, so don't worry at all. Okay, so x minus the 2x gives you minus x. I take that over to that side, so 250 minus 300 gives you minus 50. So I just take away all the negatives, so x is equal to 50. So we know, and we could nearly see somewhere in between, roughly, it makes sense. So the x is 50. We can put that x into any of those two calculations or any of those two formulas. For me, it's the easiest to put it into that one. So if x is 50, y needs to be 200. And let's quickly see. It nearly makes sense if you look at that it is somewhere in that space between 180 and 220. So again, nearly by looking at it, it does make sense. So now we need to put those two numbers back into that original. So for B, it is 120 times the 50, which gives me 6,000 plus 200 times 95, which gives me 19,000. If I add the two together, it gives me 25,000. Okay, this is quite interesting, but I haven't even gotten to any of those numbers. Bit weird. I'm hoping that we get to one of the other numbers. Did any of you guys did it and get a solution? Because if that is 25 now already, I nearly want to eliminate that also from, so I'm hoping it is one of those two. Otherwise, when did you guys do this already for assignment 3 for submission for Monday or not yet? Okay, not yet. At least an honest response. Okay, so let's look at option 3 and let's cross fingers and let's hope it works. Okay. Okay, so let's hope it is option, or it is C, and C is one of those two. Okay. So the formula for C was, and let's use a different color that we not getting confused with it, all the formulas. So C was 6x plus 2y is equal to 840. Okay, thank you. So I'm hoping at least somebody, thanks you, and I really hope I'm also getting that. No, can't be A. I already eliminated A. So 2x plus y is equal to 300. So again, now we need to say, so I would nearly say, let's make this one, because there is a y, make it the minus 2x plus 300. and then we can put it back into that formula. So we sit with 6x plus 2. Remember, we need to multiply that 2 by the 2. We need to multiply it by the whole y. So it is minus 2x plus 300. And that is equal to 840. Okay, so by multiplying in, it's 6x, that will be minus 4x. That will be plus 600 equal to 840. So 2x will be equal to 240. That gives us x is equal to 120. So let's just make that 120. Just want to see if we look at that. It nearly looks right. If we go across, it will probably be around 60 or something like that. So if we put in 120 there, basically 2x will be equal to, okay, so wait, I've put it in there. So 2x, hold on, so it will be 2 times 120 plus y is equal to 300. So y will be equal to 240 that you take to that side, so y will be equal to 60. So if you look at it, it is around 60 in any case. So now it is 120 times x. So it's 120 times 120, which is 14400, plus 60 times 95, which is 5700. Which is unfortunately 2100. But 21,100 is not the maximum value. This is fascinating. Okay, somebody said C. How did you get to C? Did I maybe make a mistake somewhere in a calculation? Is that one correct? The point B. Did you guys get any changes to the question maybe? See, that is 250. So that is. Okay, but now that worries me because when if my calcs are correct, then it is none of the above, and I don't want to even go there. Okay, let's just quickly check if my point B is right. Yeah, but I hate option 5. I really hate option 5 to say none of the above. Yeah, okay. That is, I also now want to see if I not made a mistake with this one. See, okay, but see that point is 300, so you can't. So that be the y can't be 300 because that point is the 300. So if I put that in there, okay, then yeah. And that is why that is why you also there's other use like online things that we can use for this as well, but it is nearly 4 minutes per question, so it is crazy actually. That's why they have taken in the exam the none of the above out of the option. So sure, for this one I would then say we yeah we can all wish for a 12-hour exam. I agree, Claudine. So yeah, so for this one and that's why nearly Johan where they're trying to catch you out with that one because that is an option, but it's not the maximum option. And I think that is important. So, and that is maybe what they want to see is if I said again minimum, that would have been the minimum. And again, it would have been none of the above. So they are nearly trying to catch you out with this one to say, well, you've worked through everything. You do find a value. Which corresponds to one of the answers, but it is not the maximum. And I think that for me in this one is the tricky one nearly is you go through the whole process, you worked out, and this has taken us about 15 minutes probably. There was not an easy one nearly to exclude from this. And as you work through, you actually get one of the options. But it is definitely clear here that even with that first option, that it is not a 2100. Okay, guys, happy with that? Joanna, you're also happy with that because I think it's one of those that one works through it, you get one of the answers, and then and if you quickly want to chat as well, please unmute and ask, or if you're happy with it. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's look at the next one, and this, it's and I've the guys that are on the WhatsApp group. Muhammad has been very quiet on the WhatsApp group. He's one of the students that I tutored about, I think 2 years ago, but he stays on the WhatsApp group here in Denver because I think they always want to give some advice on this as well. And he always talks about the Scully method. And when you have, if you had a X, Y, and Z value, so if one of the answer sets was X is equal to 1, Y is equal to 2, and Z is equal to 1, what he says, what he will do, and that's why he said he's calling it the Scully method, is he would put that in straight into those solutions and see which one of the options is actually working for him. Without even calculating anything, he would nearly do that. Unfortunately, when they start asking you what is the sum of the values, you unfortunately need to work through the three equations. There's no other way of doing this. So unfortunately, we will need to solve it. And I'm showing one method now, but okay, cool. And share that online calculator with the rest of the group as well, because I think it's always good to have that in. I would have guessed free, as that is my nearest solution to everything if I don't know the answer. But Heather, please share, if you can, on a WhatsApp group, share that link to the calculator as well. I think it's always good that you have something in the back that one can always check, especially with these questions. Colleen, yes.
Sorry, the previous question, I got a little bit stuck there. Can we go back to the previous one? Because I've got a value of 27,500.
For which one did you get that?
It's not that either.
Yes.
It was for B.
So what was the values
No,
that
okay.
you
So
had
what I
for
did was 2x
yeah.
plus y equals 300, because
Yes.
it hits the 300 line on the y.
Okay.
And then I did x and y equals 250, because both x and y are 250 on both
Okay.
sides.
Sorry. So it's that one. Okay, yes.
Then, so x is equal to 150 and y is equal to 100. No, never mind.
Okay, see,
I
so
think I got
that is
wrong. I think I got it
where
wrong.
you
Never
got
mind.
it wrong. That is where
Sorry.
you
Yeah.
got it wrong.
Sorry.
Okay.
I
No,
was trying
perfect.
to work through them again. Okay.
Yeah. No,
Sorry.
perfect.
Carry on.
No, perfect. I think that is why we have these sessions. It is rather make the mistake as we go through the assignments, so that you know in the exam you won't make that mistake. So
Yes.
for me, it is the learning is now you know exactly where you made the mistake.
Yes.
And then in the exam you can get full marks. So let's ask. So I think that is why we are doing these sessions. It is, and it's not. It was always easier in class to just say something. So please feel free to ask, like Colleen, if there's something that's bothering you. I think it's a bit daunting still getting used to this online environment with asking questions, but please do. It's now even faceless, so it's easier to ask those questions. Okay, so for this one, not really any quick method unless you use online. So I like the online calculators. It really helps a lot. But let's try to solve this. And again, when we're sitting with a group of linear equations, there's always a few methods that you can do. So what I normally do is I look at my x's, I look at my y's, I look at my z's, because I now need to nearly cancel things out so that I only sit with two variables. So this one is a nasty one because there's nothing really that is an easy one to do. Let me just take that out because otherwise I am going to confuse myself. So there's not anything really easy. So what I would do, I nearly like that option. So I would normally mark my free equations as well, just to make it easier for me. So I would say, okay, let's look at equation 2. Let's multiply that straight through by 2. And with the maths, we are allowed to do that. So 2 times minus 2 gives me minus 4x. 2 times 5 gives me 10y. 2 times z gives me 2z. And just remember that we need to, and the one is a 2 and the other one is a z, and we also need to multiply the 4, so it is equal to 8. And then I see, oh, I can do something with the first one, so I just write the first one over again, but we can work with that. So if I then say 1 plus that new 2, we basically get rid of that because minus 4x plus 4x then disappears, so that becomes 0. There we are, we have 11y. There we have 5z. And there we have 16. Okay, so that is now a new formula that I have created. And now we nearly need to do the same with another set of formulas that I sit with another y and z. So let me just make that we know that is z and y, that I don't. So then I would look, okay, what else is nearly an easy one to change? So if I multiply that by 4, I can do something there. That I can't really do anything. No. So, sorry. That is z. So it is 2z and 3z, not 22 and 52. So thanks for that. So that needs to be z's. So it is 2z and 3z, and if you add that together, it will give you 5z. So let's try something like that. And again, in the exam, very easy to make that mistake as well as you're writing, because it is nearly, you're so much focused on what you need to do, and suddenly you have a 54 in there that actually should be 5z. So the other option I would do is I would say, okay, let's take 2 and multiply that by 4. So if I multiply that whole function by 4, I get minus 8x. Now I need to concentrate as well. 5 times 4 is 20, so 20y. 4 times 1 is 4z. So let's make it that is how I write my z's. And 4 times 4 is equal to 16. Okay, still I can't really do anything yet with that, but now I can see, well, there was a 4z, so I am going to write that formula just under it, and see again, it is taking lots of time. So to use for online formula, it just makes it much more easier if you use for online tools. So okay, so now I did a mistake because I want to get rid of the excess. Sorry. See, and again, because if I just get rid of the z's, I'm still sitting and shoot. Okay, I need to get rid of the excess. Sorry. It was so easy to look for the easiest one to do, but I want to get rid of the excess because I have the y and the z. So now I need to make it difficult for myself. So option 2, I will multiply by 3. And option 3, I will multiply by 2. And that is basically, so if I look at option or equation 2, so that will give me minus 6x. 3 times that is plus 15y. 3 times z will be 3z. 3 times 4 will be 12. Okay, then equation 3 multiplied by 2, so I will get 6x plus 4y plus 8z is equal to 18. I will add those two together. So 0x's 19y plus 11z is equal to 30. So this is really taking long. There must have been an easier way to do this. Sure. It just feels that this is, because now I'm even going to go into weird decimals. What is, did anyone else do this without any calculators linked to that, or at the background with online calculators? Did you do the same? It feels like I'm missing an easier option. Sure. So let's say that was, I want to isolate the y. So it is minus 5. This doesn't, I must have made a mistake somewhere. It just feels like because that would have been taken to that side. So minus 5 over 11 plus 16 over 11. And then I need to put it into that one. Now this can't be this difficult. No, this is ridiculous. Okay. Okay, so the principle works, but it just doesn't feel right. But let's see what we get. See, it's Okay, did any of you tried something different? Is there something that I just made a mistake somewhere that it gives me these weird... And already now there's another 15-20 minutes gone, and then I start wondering where have I gone wrong. So I set the second one times 2, so that is minus 4x, that is plus 10y, that is plus 2z, and that is 8. There, that was there, and I added the 2, so that was all correct. I said 2 times 3, 2 times 3, so that is minus 6, that is plus 15, that is 3, that is 12. The second, that one times 2, so that is 6, that is 4, that is 8, that is 18. I added those. Yeah. Okay, there must be an easier way to do this. Okay, I will work this out, and then I will share it with you afterwards. This is not going to bother me. On the online calculator that you used, did they show you the steps? Colleen, yes, please.
Would it make sense to make sure all the equations are times or equal to, for instance, 4, 2, and 3x can all be divisions of 12? So 4x times 3, and try and do that, and then minus 2 times 6 and do that. I don't know.
I like that. I like
I'm
that
just
idea.
trying that logic.
No, but I like that idea actually. So that can be a good. Okay, no, don't worry over that. That can be a nice one to actually do to make it all for the x's, maybe to all move it around with the 12. So that times 3 all through, that times 6, that times 4, and then you will probably sit with something better. I like that idea, because that then would have been 3 Must we do that or must we go to the next one? What do you guys? Let's quickly check what was. I'll do this one and I'll send to you a pic of. Okay, let's do the suggestion. So there goes all of that. Okay, let's do this. I'm not going to stop until I have the answer. So, okay, so the first one we will multiply by 3 straight through. So that will be 12x plus 3y plus 9z is equal to 24. And just please check if that I'm also don't make mistakes. So that one we multiply by 6. So it will be minus 12x plus 30y plus 6z also 24. Okay, multiply by 4, so 12x plus 8y plus 16z is equal to 36. Okay. Everybody happy that I worked correctly? So let's quickly see. So so that's now my new one, my new 2, new 3. Okay, so let's look at 2 and 3. So if I say for one plus the other one, so 2 plus 3, that gives me 0. That gives me 38, but that's fine. Shucks, okay, that gives me, let me just see, that was 16. So that gives me 22. And that gives me 60. Okay, if I look at adding those two together, or must I say one minus the other one? Do that. We get 5. 5 and 38 is also not going to work nicely. If I say that minus that 7. Okay, so wait, I just want to make sure what I have written here again with a z. So that was actually 22z. Now see, and this is basically again, so just imagine that is 22z. Okay, so let's add 1 and 2, because then also the x disappear. It gives me plus 33y. Just looking for that one nice that one can start eliminating. 15z equal to 48. Let's see, so if I So if I divided that by 2, that give me 19y plus 11z equal to 30. Now this one looks like one of those that is terrible. If I divided this by 3, so that was 19, so 19 and 11 is already not 5z. That divided by 3, I think, is 18. Then again, we sit with a very, very stupid one, and then I can't really. I hate this one. I really hate this one because there's not really anything. There's so many methods that we now looked at, and it actually just 48 divided by 16. Okay, so thank you. Okay, it still doesn't help me a lot. So that's the one now that we have. That's the other one that we have. It's not that is equal, so I can't there. If I set that is equal to that one, okay, I'm just trying something. Okay, Colleen, you can speak while I'm.
Can you go even further and times the one by 38 and the other one by 33? So at least the y's are equal to each other.
That's what you now need to do. So all by 11 and by 19 nearly. So that is what you would need to do. So let's do that. It becomes so let's do that. We multiply that one by 11. So 19 times 11 is 209 y plus 11 times 11, 121 z, and then 30 times 11. And just please check that, because if one now makes a silly mistake, then okay, and then we multiply by 19, so 5 times 19 is 95z.
Sean, remind me interrupting, because suddenly I just see this very clearly. Would you mind me interrupting?
Yes, please.
So
Because it feels like there is a much easier way, and I'm not seeing it at the moment.
What I'm thinking. So what I did was I took the 3, and everywhere I saw an X, a Y, or a Z, I just plugged the 3 in. So I took 4 and I put the 3 in brackets, which gave me 12. And then I took the Y, I made that 3, so that was 12 plus 3. And then the Z I made 9, so it was 12 plus 3 plus 9 equals to 24. 8 multiplied by 3 is 24. And then I did the same. So what I was figuring out is that you wanted the right-hand side to equal to the left-hand side. So when I put the 2 minus 6 would be the second one, plus 15 plus 3, and then on the other side it would be 12. So minus 6 plus 15 plus 3 is equal to 12. That's what I did. I just thought of that. So if you tried in that.
So that is the Muhammad way of what we're calling the Scully way of doing.
Really works.
Yeah, because okay, so let's quickly look at this option, and maybe that actually looks now like a simple answer that is coming out in any case.
And it would have taken a minute.
But it takes a long, because 121 minus 95 is 26z is equal to 26, because 330 minus that also gives us 26. So z is equal to 1. Okay, so Colleen, that method helped. Then we can actually do the same with the z's, to say this one I'll multiply by 11, that one I'll multiply by 5, and then we will probably get, let's do that, 95. So I said 19 times 5. I said 11 times 5. So that is 55z. I said 30 times 5. So that is 150. And now this one I will multiply by 11 through. So 11 times 11 is 121. I'm probably going to get that equal to 1 as well. 11 times 5 is 55z, and 11 times 16 is 176. So we are basically going the same route, that y is equal to 1. Then you can put it in that one. So if y is equal to 1, we have that is 1. If y is equal to 1 there, it is 3. So 4x is equal to, and you take that to that side, is equal to 4. So x will also be equal to 1. And then the sum of those three is equal to 3. Yeah. Okay, this is actually a ridiculous one. You won't get something like this in the exam, so it won't be that difficult. The ones that are in the exam are actually straightforward, that with your first equation nearly you can eliminate something. So you won't get it in this detail, because this took us about 20-25 minutes, and that is not how it will be in the exam. This was a bit, and I don't see a quicker way with these to do it with these solutions nearly, where you need to solve it as one equation. Yeah. Okay, so we got what the yes, Desmond.
Just out of interest, could you show us the Scully method? Because when I used it, it worked absolutely fine, and I mean we could do it within a minute or two. Why do you advise against the Scully method?
Okay, so what was your Scully method?
So what I did was I said to myself that the right hand side must equal to the left hand, or the left hand side must equal to the right hand side. So I plugged number 3. I just started with number 3, and I said 4 in brackets a 3 plus 3 plus 9 is equal to 8 brackets 3. So then it became 12 plus 9 plus 3 is equal to 24. The right hand side was equal to the left hand side. I did the same with the second and the third, and all 3 times the right hand side was equal to the left hand side.
Okay, so if you did it with option 4, what did you get?
I didn't do it with option 4, but I'm pretty sure. Why don't we try it? Considering that we've already spent 20 minutes on it.
Yeah, so and that for me is the Scully method is nearly, when I know it's clear, kind of, so it can be that if you use option 4, you get the same answer nearly. But for this one, if you want to use the Scully method, please do. I normally use the Scully method when I do have a clearer answer or a clearer way of seeing it, but please use it if you can. And that's why, if I won't advise against it, because that is why it is there. I'm just afraid that if somebody else started with option 4, it will also give you a answer. But I would probably have done the same as you, as I would have said, I first would put in 3 because that's the one that isn't the decimal one. And then I would have probably worked with that as well. I would have probably first tried to solve it the way I did, but I would then start saying, this is really a difficult equation to solve. Colleen, yes.
So if you put 3.75 into line 1, you get 30 on the one and 30 on the other.
Okay, see, so that is also, so it basically then it would have been luck which one you pick. Okay. We will have time to go through old exam papers as well, so don't worry. I've got a limited time with what UNISA contracts me, but don't worry, we'll have extra sessions to get to the rest, because I think it is important. We didn't even get to the next session today because these are so difficult things to do. So let's do this one also. Quickly check if it is in assignment 3. If it's not in the assignment 3, we skip it. If it is in assignment 3, we quickly do it. Okay, so it's not in assignment 3. Colleen, do you still want to quickly ask a question, or is that the previous hand? Okay, so it's assignment 1, so we can come back to this one at the later stage. So we've got 5 minutes, so let's quickly get at least one of the questions. I think this one was assignment 3. So let's get to, I know this question 22 must be in assignment 3. So, and I know this was part of the work that I wanted to do today. So let's quickly check assignment 3, and then that will be where we stop, and then we can just go next week, we continue. So on question 22, did any of you try this? Yes, no, maybe. So the first thing, if I look at this, is I look at where it goes through the point there -1, it goes through the point there as 3. Okay, so I don't know if that is correct yet. I look at this turning point. Oh, doesn't it show? Okay, let me quickly share again. Okay, let's quickly, is it showing now? Okay, cool. So this is definitely question of assignment 3, question 22. So again, how I look at it, it is part of, what was this chapter of chapter 4. So there is notes, and I will share that with you as well. But how I look at this again is I'm going to try to look at it from elimination. So if I look at it, so my x is positive, my y is negative, so the turning point is probably going to be 1 and going to be minus something. So when I look at these options, I see, okay, there's a 1, there's a 1, 1, okay, can't be that one. Because there was a -5 and a 1, I'm nearly in the mind of, okay, it's probably one of those two. That is just how I automatically nearly want to say, then it's probably one of those two, just because it feels like how it should be. But the other thing that we also know is if when the arms of the equation goes up, I will share some of the notes. I've made notes on this as well, but it's nearly easier for you to see. So when the arms goes up, and we can see this is going up, whatever is in front of the x square must be positive. So whatever is in front of the x square must be positive. So just look that they trying to trick again here with those ones. But there's a x square positive, positive, negative, negative. So again, we can take those two out. It's not one of the options. So as I was thinking, it should be one of those two. So let's look at the only difference between those two is I'm sitting with an x that's -2 and an x that is 2. So if I look at that formula from the maths again, what we need to look at is where does those two go through. So it goes through -1. So my 1 point would have been x plus 1. My other one would have been x minus 3. And the reason why I say that is I'm nearly working now backwards. So I needed to get to x is equal to -1 as that point. So the way I get to x equal to -1 is equal to 0. Because if I bring that over to that side, it takes me to the +1. So the same with the other point, I needed to have it that x is equal to 3. So if I put it back into a factor, it is actually x minus 3 is equal to 0. Okay, so that is basically showing me I have those two as my factors. If I multiply that out, the x times the x gives me the x squared. The x times the -3 gives me -3x. That times that gives me plus x. That times that gives me -3. So I'm sitting with x squared minus 2x minus 3 equal to 0 or equal to y. So I am then having option 4 as the correct option. And you can see that that is probably 3 that it's going through at that point, and that point will be also not 3, minus 3, and minus 5 your turning point. Okay, so that is a lot of maths into that, nearly that one equation. But again, how I look at it is nearly I'm trying to eliminate options that by the end of the time you nearly, if you need to guess, you actually have just 2 that you need to guess from and not 4 options. Okay, sure, time actually went by very quick today. So for the guys that are not on the WhatsApp group, please send me a WhatsApp this afternoon, still this evening. I'll add you to the group. The assignment is due, the last one on Monday, but please chat amongst one another. I will chip in as well if I see that I can assist with something. Then I will take your guidance nearly if we need to focus a bit on this chapter, or if we need to go into differentiation next week. So let me also know how you feel. I nearly feel that we must start with a differentiation and then go with that. So I don't have a problem if we start with differentiation next week. But let me know as well, and quickly feedback from you guys. Would you rather let me start with differentiation next week? Okay. Yeah, I think for differentiation, I'll share this in any case on the group as well, but I nearly feel like we need to get to the differentiation and the integration, because it's nearly just the opposite of differentiation, and there is quite a few things that we need to go through. So I'll rather then start with differentiation next week. Okay. Because I do think that is, yes, and integration follows after that. It's, yeah. So rather let's start early on differentiation. Let's get that done with, and then integration nearly follows onto that. Okay. That went by very quickly. Have a great afternoon, evening, and weekend, and good luck. Anything from your side that you want to quickly mention? Otherwise, we are done for the day. And is this assisting you? Okay, cool. Okay, guys, have a wonderful weekend. I'm going to stop the recording now, and the recording will also be available later on. Okay, great.